This is Unit 7.3, and in this unit we're going to learn about the properties of rectangles. And rectangles have all the properties of parallelograms, which are opposite sides are congruent, opposite sides are parallel, opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary, and the diagonals bisect each other. So that's what we learned in the last unit. And in addition to all of the properties that I just mentioned, there are two additional properties. One is all four angles are right angles. And the last one is diagonals are congruent. So they not only bisect each other, but also they are congruent. So these two are connected, right? So let's look at some of the examples here. First one, I have PQ is 24, so the opposite has to be 24, and PS and QR must be the same. So QR, we said it's 10, SR is 24, SQ. So SQ is a little tricky. We're not given the information. However, notice that I have a right triangle here. So if you want to calculate SQ, you have to use Pythagorean theorem. So you can say SQ is X, therefore X is the hypotenuse. So X squared should equal 24 squared plus 10 squared. And that would give us 676. So X comes out to be 26. So XQ is 26, and PR would be congruent to SQ, and QT should be half of that because the diagonals bisect each other. Okay, so that's a quick example of how we use the sides to how we use the sides in the rectangle being opposite sides being congruent to calculate the unknown sides. Let's look at example number 3. So example 3 is about angles, and all we know is just this small angle here, KJL is 27. And we also know that every corner, every interior angle of a rectangle is 90 degrees. So we can use that to use 90 degrees minus 27. We know angle MJL now is 63 degrees. So let's look at the rest of it. MJK obviously is 90 degrees. MJL, we said it's 63 degrees. That's the one we just calculated. And then JLK. Notice that opposite sides are also parallel in a rectangle. So this angle, well, let me use a different color. So this angle with the two tick marks and the 63 degrees is congruent with each other. So that JKL is 63 as well. KML, where's KML? KML is right here. So KML is here. Notice that because the diagonals are congruent and they bisect each other, so NJ and NK are congruent to each other, and therefore angle KJL and angle JKM has to be congruent. So KML now. KML is so this has to be 27. If this is 27, KML is 27 because they're alternate interior angles. And finally, angle MNL, I'll use a blue color, is this. So again, if I know this is 27, this has to be 27. 180 minus 27 minus 27, I should have 126 degrees. So the angles are a little bit tricky, but if you just use the properties for rectangles and use parallel lines, you need to use some of these alternate interior and alternate exterior angles to help you find the angle measures. It's not hard, it's a little tedious. Okay, so let's move on to the next page. The algebra part is very similar. I'm not gonna do too much of it. So let me just do number 9 and number 10, and then we can finish this unit. So number 9, I have VW, which is this half, the purple half, at 9x minus 11. And I have SU, and now SU is this one, is the red line, which is not very straight, and that's 16x minus 12. And I'm asked to find WT. So WT is the same as VW, right? So I need to find x first. Now, notice that the purple part, notice that it's a rectangle, therefore we know that VT, the diagonal VT, and SU are congruent to each other. So their side length should equal to each other. Now, the purple part is only half of VT. So we simply multiply that by 2. We would have the length of VT. And then SU is 16x minus 12. So if you set it up like that, the rest of it is just simple algebra. You would come out to be 18x, so that's 2x. On the other side should be 10. X should be 5. If you have x, we're asked to find WT. WT should equal VW. And VW is 9x minus 11, so it's 9 times 5 minus 11, and that should give me 34. So 34 is your final answer. Okay, again, it's looking for which part is equivalent, is equal to which part. Number 10, I'll just set it up. Rectangle, this is alternate interior, so you have 7x plus 5 should equal 11x minus 3. And your final answer is, for x is 2, but you're asked to find BCE. BCE is right here. In order to find BCE, you have to find the angle measure of DCE first. So DCE is 11x minus 3. So 11 times 2 is 22 minus 3, that gives me 19, and therefore angle measure for BCE is simply 90 minus 19 gives me 71 degrees. Okay, so the rest of them are fairly similar, that you just need to look at the relationships, is which one is equal to which one adds up to 90 degrees, which one adds up to 180 degrees, and then solve the equation. All right, guys, I will see you in class. Bye.